The text, it said almost.
All right, your go.
He's telling me he has no mic and he's telling me to stand by. So hold on a second here. Well, we do have a quorum here. Straightened out while I'm reading things. So time being 6:09, quorum being present, I will call the meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission to order. Before we get started, I need to read the governor's order. So pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order, extending to March 12th, 2020 order, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 38, section 18, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people who may gather in one place. This meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information, general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public can be found on the Town of Freetown website, freetownma.gov. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we're unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website or YouTube channel an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So, Chris, let us know when you get the mic squared away, please. For those that are here, I'll just do a little housekeeping until he can join us. Items number 5 and number 6, they are both a notice of intent for solar arrays, 67 Chase Road and off Chipaway Road. This is still in peer review. I do have a meeting coming up with both the applicant and our peer review engineers to hopefully facilitate some of this review. And
I'm
so
here,
they have asked, oh, excellent, cool. So items number 5 and 6, again, they are under peer review. So now that we have Chris with his mic, I will call items number 5 and 6 back to order. Item number 5 is a continued notice of intent for 67 Chase Road, East Freetown. And that is, again, a notice of intent for a solar array to be installed at that location. Item number 6 is a notice of intent for off Chipaway Road. And again, that is also for proposed solar array. They're in peer review now, so the applicant has asked for a continuance. Our next meeting date, Caitlin, you can confirm, is January 10th?
That is correct.
Excellent. So I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for both items number 5 and number 6 to January 10th. I'm wondering if we couldn't do 6:15. Is 6:15 going to be all right for you, Charlie?
Sure, no problem at all.
Thank you. 6:15, January 10th via Zoom.
I'll support that motion. I'll
To
second
make
the
that
motion.
I need a motion's made and supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Hearing none, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Okay, so we'll back up to the top. First item for consideration, we have a request for certificate of compliance. This is for a project at 251A Middleborough Road, East Freetown. The owner is Robert Buckley. The representative is Azu. Everybody knows Azu. And the scope of work is site redevelopment, dwelling, septic system, and all associated grading along Long Pond. This project has been going on for quite some time. It had multi-phases. This site was damaged in the flooding in 2010. So they had to raise the house, knock the house down, that is, move it back some and install a new septic system. They had initially put paperwork in prior to the COVID, and they've asked us to consider it now. So I've been by the site. It's been for a while now. It's in substantial compliance with the plans. So if nobody has any comments, I'll entertain a motion to grant a complete certificate of compliance for 251A Middleborough Road.
I'll make that motion. I'll support it.
Motion's been made and supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Hearing none, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Second item, we are request for the certificate of compliance for 10 Cove Lane. Owner applicant Barbara Abbott, Representative Kelly Barrasso, and the scope of work is a septic upgrade. This work was done several months ago. It's right down the street from me. I took a ride by there. Again, it's all done and dusted. So unless there's any other concerns or comments, we have a request, Caitlin. This is for a complete certificate of compliance. So I'll entertain a motion to issue a complete certificate of compliance.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Motion made, supported to grant a complete certificate of compliance for 10 Cove Lane. There's no further discussion on a motion. Hearing none. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Chris Mather.
Aye.
Aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda, it's item number 3. It's a request for determination of applicability. This is for Fall Brook subdivision.
Okay.
The owner, applicant is the Ritter Family LLC. Representative is W Engineering LLC, Evan Watson. And the scope of work is 12 new residential subdivision, 12 lot residential subdivision off Buddy's Crossing, Jordan Lane. Again, this is not a public hearing. It's a request for determination. Oftentimes, you know, if there are questions, I may allow that to be, but this is not a public hearing. So just keep that in mind. For those that want to follow along and you want to follow along with our sets of plans, you can go to the town's website, freetownma.gov, go to the boards and committees, Conservation Commission. On the left-hand side, 4th item down, I believe, it's current wetland filings and current conservation filings. And you will see, and you'll have the ability to follow along, and you can do it that way. So that being said, we have, except I don't see Caitlin.
I'm here.
That's Evan?
Yes. Yep. I'm here.
All
Do you
right,
see me
Evan.
pop up now? Yep. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So it has not made it onto the website yet. This is an RDA, so it's not a public hearing, so it's not as vital. But but Conservation Commission members, you should have them in email so you can follow along that way. And Evan, if you would like, Caitlin, do you want to share your screen?
I can share my screen. I have the information and I have the pertinent parts highlighted and things. So if that's okay with you, I could do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that would be great. Caitlin, if you could give him permission to screen share, please.
Go right ahead.
All right. Does everybody see the plan set on my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen and not something else. So it's Evan Watson with W Engineering representing the applicant. It's the Ritter family. And back in 2019, this project was filed under a notice of intent for 12-lot subdivision here on the west, 12-lot subdivision, which is the extension of Buddy's Crossing, but we're calling it Boxberry Lane. And we had an associated solar system in the middle here, if you can recall. So subsequent to that, the commission did issue an order of conditions. That order of conditions allowed for us to finalize the stormwater work, et cetera, with the planning board, and allowed the solar company to proceed with installing the solar facility. And here, I'll bring that up while I'm talking here, so you can see a picture of that. Now, when they completed the solar facility, part of what they had to do was complete the detention basin areas that were associated with the subdivision roads. Yeah. Here's a aerial photograph here of the completed solar. They completed the detention basins, both here and here, and they installed the drainage piping, all which was part of the order's conditions for that solar. So what ended up happening after that is Prime Engineering who did these plans went ahead and they asked for a request for a certificate of compliance, and they said everything was all done. So just fast forward a little bit here through the plan set. Again, I don't have the solar plans in front of us, but that was all the solar, all the drainage work that was needed for the solar. However, there is a spot right here, fast forward, that is not a detention basin, but instead it's a drainage outfall. It basically picks up the water from between lots 24 and 25, brings it across the road, discharges it through an infiltration and water quality swale here. Now that was not completed, but in order for us to do the road, which is outside the buffer zone, we have to do some of this work that's inside the buffer zone here. The other spot that we're thinking about is right over here. Again, none of the roadway or any of this piping or anything else is within the buffer zone. It would just be this laydown area that we'd like to use here. So right now they're utilizing the area outside the 100-foot buffer zone, and as things are moving along and he brings more equipment in, he'd like to be able to utilize this area here up to 50 feet. And again, that's the only spots. I'm sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
So 50 feet from the wetland, 50 feet, you're leaving 50 feet from the wetland is what you're saying?
Yes, and that's, if you look in the act, that's not outrageous. That's an allowed activity to do just a little bit of work. We're not installing a building. We're not creating any structures. In fact, it's mostly temporary. So we would just clear that area, add in erosion control, and then only use it during construction, and then it would be all stabilized on the way out, loamed and seeded, etc. So our request, go ahead.
The end result of that laydown area, what will it be once you guys leave somebody's yard or?
No, so that lot, this actually gives frontage to the lot that one of the lots that the solar is on. So that's actually, okay. It's still owned by the Haas family, but it's leased. This area is leased to the solar, but they still own this part here. Now that anything having to do with the lots within the 100-foot buffer zone, any house, any septic system, anything like that, we'll have to do a separate notice of intent for each one of those lots. But yeah, that's down the road.
That's what I was kind of getting at. If this was going to be part of an overall notice of intent for something else, do you want to do it that way? But it's fine this way. Now that you explain the circumstances, thank you.
Yep. And what I would ask, what the ask is this order of conditions that is recorded in the registry that identifies the plan, has some special conditions, etc. I would ask that we, the commission, issue a negative determination with conditions. And what that would mean is that it's not required to file a notice of intent should we apply to the order of conditions that was previously issued, and we construct the project as approved under that order of conditions. So that's what we're asking for tonight, with, again, the exception of adding a laydown area that would be no closer than 50 feet to the resource area.
Right. So if I understand this correctly, you're gonna be encroaching in the buffer zone slightly up, with a 50-foot offset for a laydown area for machinery and all. But that is part of the overall solar array, or that part of that. The other part is previously approved stormwater management work that was, again, previously approved for the other project, but not 100% completed. And you're looking
That's
to complete
correct.
that, right? All right.
Yes. Just to clarify the laydown area, the laydown area is for the subdivision. But it's just so we don't.
I got that. Yeah.
Okay.
Its physical location is not within a house lot. It's actually on the solar array.
Yes.
Lot. Yes.
On their lot. Yep. Okay. And the reason for that is we don't want to compact soils and damage the lots and things like that. So we can use that to stage equipment, etc.
Okay, pretty benign. One, you have to finish anyway for stormwater management, so that's just, I think that might have been a slight oversight. I'll say it on my part when I did the inspection. It's a rather large site with a lot of stormwater areas. So if I didn't happen to catch the completion of an outfall when we did the site, I'll take the hit on that. But kudos to you guys for understanding and responsibility and getting it done. Does anybody else, and just going to be utilizing siltation control in the laydown area, you said?
That's right. So we have a detail here of on the erosion control plan. Here we'd probably use silt fence, again, considering we're not, and then any like stockpiles or anything would have their own hay bales and silt fence around them. But we would have that 50-foot line staked out. They would cut the trees and then install silt fence and then be able to work up to that spot.
Okay. No intent to grinding, tub grinding or stump grinding on site where you can utilize that material?
Yeah, actually, there is some stump grindings and things that they have. There's some piles of that. And I would not expect that they would leave that area just completely wide open of just exposed soil. I'd be working with
I
them.
mean, I look at a lay down area, right? This isn't something that's gonna be groomed and landscaped, right? It's very rudimentary. It's a place to put some equipment and maybe material out of the way. So I guess at the end of the day, I don't want to pigeonhole you into just saying you have to use silt fence. But let's just put, siltation control needs to be installed in a manner that is conducive to stopping and preventing runoff getting into the wetland. So if that's silt fence, so be it. If you can utilize existing material on site like we've done in past projects that you've been on, but in steeper locations if necessary, and I don't think you're going to have them, you could, utilize hay bales if need be. But I just want to give that, we like it when on-site material is used for siltation control if possible. It's beneficial to everything. So.
Yep. No,
Does
I
anybody
agree with that.
All right, perfect. Anybody from the board have any questions?
I'm good,
Okay.
Kevin.
No
Excellent.
questions.
Perfect, thank you. Again, this not being a public hearing, right? Caitlin's, no one's trying to get your attention on this, right? Okay. So that being said, we've been asked to issue a negative determination, Evan, number 3, right? That the work is in a buffer zone to an area subject to protection of the act, but will not dredge, alter, or fill a resource area. So the filing of a notice of intent is not required, right? That's what you're looking for.
Right.
All right. So I'll entertain a motion. We issue a negative determination
I'll make the
number
motion.
3. Thank you.
I'll
Can I ordered? Mention conditions, and so I'm going to assume that those will still hold true, right, Evan? The conditions that it's going to be constructed in a manner, you've got it on the set of plans, so I'm not worried about it, but it's going to be constructed in a manner that was approved prior to.
Yes. So you could even add the condition, a special condition that we follow the order of conditions. You can even add the book and page, that's here. And this plan
that would be getting awful fancy, Evan. So we'll just the motion is to approve to issue a negative determination with the conditions that were approved with the order of conditions prior issuance. So
Very good.
no further discussion on. All right. If there's no further discussion on the motion, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Thanks, Evan. We'll get that paperwork done up in the next few days and signed, and we'll get it sent out to you, okay?
Appreciate that very much. Have a good evening. If I don't see you guys, have a Merry Christmas. So.
Yes, you have a happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We'll see you, bud.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Before, we have a continued request for determination of applicability. This is for 1A Estelle Ave. This is applicant owner is Roger and Joyce Bergeron. Representative is Rick Sharon. and it's a septic upgrade and tree removal. Caitlin, is Rick Sharon here, or Rick, are you here?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Hi, Rick. Good, Rick. How are you?
Very good, very good.
Good.
We spoke about this a couple weeks back.
Last we met.
Yeah.
Last we met a couple weeks ago. Our understanding was that there was some changes to the plans. Additionally, there were potential changes response to a Board of Health variance request. So where do we stand with that, Rick? And if you could, sorry, Rick, for the record.
Yeah, Rick Sharon from Sharon Associates Engineers here on behalf of Roger and Joyce Bergeron. The changes are relatively minor, but we weren't able to put them up on the screen. I don't know if Karen is able to do that, or Caitlin is able to do that right now.
You want to do a screen share? Is that what you're saying?
I tried that last time and I blew it.
Yeah,
So-
listen, there's a reason why I don't do it either.
It's only been a couple weeks. I haven't gotten any smarter in the 2 weeks. So if she could put that up on the screen, we can.
We have the ability to get it through our website, so we can find it. I don't know if Caitlin has the ability to put it up on the screen or not. She's like you. She's new to the game too. So we're gonna get her trained up. I don't know the first thing about it myself. So
you have the
last we
plans.
met,
All right. Do you have plans to review? Can we talk about this then? Because this is a septic repair. It's an existing house, 2 bedrooms, and it had a septic upgrade in 1990. So we located that and plotted on our plan and showing that as the existing system. It was a flow diffuser system and it's failed. Actually got completely inundated with roots and filled everything up on it. So that's going to be removed. We did a new system, and the new system is sort of a pentagon shape. It's an unusual sized shape for a stone and pipe field, but it's got to be placed in a situation where it basically respects the existing setbacks to all the wells of the neighbors. These are relatively small lots on Estelle Avenue. This at the end of Charbonneau Avenue, also down towards the end of down towards the water. On the plan, you'll see that we have basically 2 wetlands issues. One is a 100-foot buffer zone from the edge of the pond, and the new leaching field is outside of that, probably by an additional 10 feet. So it's about 110 feet off the pond. And in addition to that, there's also the flood zone associated with the pond. Elevation 57 is the 100-year flood height now. We are, again, beyond that flood zone. So, well, I shouldn't say that. There's a portion of the septic tank that is within the flood zone, the 100-year flood zone. Essentially, that's the work for the septic system. There's also a large tree that's down in the alcove. You'll notice the house is L-shaped, and there's a large tree right down by the edge of the water, by their bulkhead, and they want to remove that. It's the roots are beginning to lift things up by the house, and it's just getting to be there we go. All right, good. Down on the bulkhead is in the lower part of that plan. Down by the lower right side, you'll see the tree that's got to be removed. And that's where we put the siltation control between the tree and the excellent. That's great. So we're going to move that existing tree, and it's a large one. It's probably about 36-inch diameter at the trunk. We had said that we would grind the stump. However, we don't want to be digging this up down there because the roots are really too invasive right now. They'd be ripping up everything. So they're going to grind the stumps down after they take the tree down. But the siltation control was placed down there between the tree and the water for that purpose, just to provide some protection there. And then if you move up a little bit towards the septic system, away from the water. Okay, again, that little dotted line you see in there, that's the 100-foot buffer zone from the water. And there is an existing septic tank and pump chamber that we're going to pump out. We're going to crush them and backfill them right in place. So there's a little bit of an odd configuration here for our septic tank and the new dosing tank, but it's in order to avoid resting on top of those tanks that'll be crushed and backfilled. So we're putting in a new 1,500-gallon septic tank. It's a 2-compartment tank. Get the additional treatment in there, and that discharges into a new dosing tank. Again, we had a dosing tank there, but it's 30 years old, and it's also fairly deep in the ground. So we thought we're better off. Let's go with a new dosing tank, get it up a little bit higher, and pump into this new leaching field. So we then lift up into the leaching field, and you can see the shape of it here. It's 5-sided, but it has the square footage required for the percolation rate we had there. It provides the amount of daily design flow for the 2-bedroom house. You'll also see some sweeping arcs in here. These curved dash lines, the well setbacks from neighbors' wells. That's a 100-foot setback on the upper left, from the upper left-hand corner. There are a number of wells here. So most of our work on this job has been trying to fit it within the allowable area. And we're able to do that with the percolation rate that they had. So essentially, that's the project. Replacing the septic system, putting in a new septic. I should mention too, there's an extension of they want to extend the driveway down to the house. You'll see on the left, the upper left side here. And an issue that they've had over here for a long time has been ponding of water on Estelle Avenue. You'll see the tree in the upper right-hand corner, and that tree is going to be removed by the town. They've been told that's the one that has spread its roots off into the old septic system. So that tree is going to be taken out. But there's a second problem there. You'll see there's an area that's currently paved, and that paved area ponds up with water constantly until it overflows and runs down the existing driveway towards the house, towards the Bergeron's house. The nearest catch basin is over on Charbonneau Avenue, and it's slightly higher than this area. So there's no way to repitch the road to get that water to drain in that direction. So what we're suggesting is, because the new paved driveway is coming right down to the front of the house, and I have to say, my clients I have elderly clients here, so they want to get a little closer so they move freely in and out of the house from their car. So we're going to continue the driveway down there, but you'll notice that the contour line, the 59-foot contour, we're extending that over to the driveway. We're going to take up the existing driveway. The neighbor's driveway extends onto their property. We're going to remove that asphalt. We're going to repave that and grade it so that water from the street cannot climb over that, climb into that driveway and run directly down to the face of their house and flood the house. So we're raising it up a little bit. So then the problem is, what do we do with the water that naturally ponds up in that area? So what we're suggesting, what we're proposing here, is to remove all of the paved parking area that they currently have up at the front of the house and just put down some stone. So we'll have something that is a pervious area, allow that water to drain into the ground and not pond, and at the same time protect their house from getting inundated. So that's the primary changes, I'd say, on this plan from the original one that was sent in, which was primarily the septic system, as you see on this plan. And
so pretty straightforward, huh, Rick?
Well, not so much. Not so much, really.
No, not so much. Right. I've never seen a leaching field look like home plate.
That's a good name for it. Yes, it looks like home plate. But it'll do the job. And but I think the other secondary consideration is that water accumulation out in the street.
I know it's a tough spot down there. When it rains heavy down there, water needs a place to go, and unfortunately, it finds its easiest path, and it shouldn't find it into their house.
Yes.
So again, I understand why you're doing this, but this is a necessary evil. We need to do a septic upgrade at this site. Like you said, it's in failure. We should probably, I'll make mention to the highway surveyor or to the tree warden that because this project, once you get approval, that's going to take place, next short while, right?
I think probably sometime in January, February. Yes.
All right, then we should probably coordinate that, get that tree out of there too. Might make it easier just for everybody involved.
That'd be a big help.
All right. Again, this is a request for determination. It's not a public hearing. I can't imagine anybody from the public is here for this.
You want to start with the map? Are you good with the plans?
Hold on a second. Anybody from the board have any questions or comments on this? Yeah. Okay.
No questions.
Perfect. That being said, then I'll entertain a motion. Hey, just before we do that, Rick, what's the plan on that tree out by the pond? Are we gonna do that first?
Yes, yes. In fact,
Right.
I think they scheduled Beaver for tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, pending approval here tonight.
Oh, I would say this, you're proposing, what is that? Siltation barrier, right? What are we proposing down there? A silt sock or some odd
It's a
thing?
silk sock, yes.
Okay, so I guess what I'm getting at is if the work is done down there and they've got the tree out and they've ground it down and it's stabilized, you want to throw some, it's relatively flat over there, right? It's not a steep.
Yes.
Right. So, you want to throw some straw hay on top of that once you throw the, reseed or whatever you're going to do. It may not even be that messy, right? You can take that straw wattle and move it up closer to the project up front.
Okay. Well,
I just,
you notice, I didn't go over this, Kevin, but you'll notice that the 57-foot contour, we're actually cutting down a little bit and creating a swale on the side of the house to grab water that would accumulate between the house and the leaching field.
between the houses, yeah.
And to conduct that
All right,
down to that area.
leave it there. That's what I get for trying to be a nice guy. Leave it
No,
there.
I think we're better off leaving it there. I should have mentioned that work earlier because it's a
No.
little bit more than just taking the tree down. We want to make sure we get a path for that water that does make it down to the house to get it out of there so we don't flood them.
You have a stamp and I don't. So, that being said, if there's no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion that we issue a negative determination number 3, that while the work is within a buffer zone, it will not dredge, alter, or fill an area subject to protection of the act. That way, notice of intent is not required. I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make that motion.
Need
I'll
a
support
second?
it.
Motion made and supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Hearing none, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Caitlin, now you can take that off the screen, please. Thank you. Hey,
Thank you
Rick,
all very
anything else,
much.
bud?
No, I think we're good and appreciate the help. Have a
My
good night
pleasure.
and Merry
Hey.
Christmas, everybody.
Thank you.
You too, brother. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We'll see you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, items number 5 and number 6, we have continued those public hearings to January 10th. Next item on our agenda, we have item number 7. This is a continued notice of intent for 0 Rear and 5 Costa Drive in East Freetown. The applicant, Adrian Ortley, Costa Solar, Ironwood Renewables, Mike Costa, Representative Dale Knapp, Biodiversity Research Institute. Scope of work is ground-mounted solar array. I will call that continued notice of intent back to order. Again, folks, this is a public hearing, so we allow the applicant to make the presentation. Would then open it up if anybody from the public or the board members have any questions. I would just ask that you politely get our attention if you want to hit the raise your hand button or raise your hand, if you will, or just say, excuse me. If I call on you, just again, state your name and what side of town for the record. We'll allow the applicant to answer all questions, go through the chair. And again, we are recording. So if you want to follow along, go to the website, freetownma.gov, Conservation Commission, current filings. You will see that we have the set of plans for this on there. I don't know, since we received, and again, whoever's here for the applicant, if you would just kindly state your name and where you're from or who you represent, what company you're with, for the record. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we received the updated plans or the revised plans, if you will. We got those today, so I don't know if those quite made it onto the website yet. So we will give you the ability, if you need to or want to, share your screen. If not, we can speak about it, and we'll go from there.
Everybody, Matt Kennedy with Biodiversity Research Institute, representing our client, Costa Solar LLC. And
How are you, sir?
I have the plan set. I can share if it hasn't been posted to the website.
That would be great if you could do that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Can everybody see the plan set I got up here?
Yep.
Awesome. So it was just some revisions that we made based on our conversation at the last Conservation Commission meeting. And we included 25-foot vegetation management zone, which is around this area where we could. There were some limitations given the stormwater management infrastructure, perimeter access, perimeter emergency access, that prevents us from doing it in all areas around the environmental resources. But in those areas where we could, we included it. You can see it around this wetland. So it's represented by this this line here that goes around the southern portion of the site, along the western boundary, comes around to the northwestern side, and then also we have included it along in the eastern array. It's along the western side of that and southern boundary. So
Excuse me, can I just ask a quick question? What sheet, if you could, what sheet are we referring to, just so everybody understands?
sheet C 1.02.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're all good. And then some more details on this area are included in the top right of that sheet 1.02 that just outlines what this 25-foot vegetation management zone includes. Just a brief overview. All trees that are over a specified height would be cut. Those stumps would be left there. They would not be grubbed. And this would be done in order to prevent shading of the arrays, but also to provide that necessary buffer from the wetland resources.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Just reading the note, it will be left in place. Okay, no, vegetation will be left to rebound to a height of 15 to 20 feet. Vernacular, or are we cutting them shorter and we're allowing them to grow back to 15 or 20 feet, or are we cutting them off between 15 and 20 feet?
Hi, this is Greg Dixon. I'm the civil engineer on the project from Krebs and Lansing.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep, we have tried cutting trees halfway up, and they, as you would imagine, just die and then become fall hazard and safety hazard problems. So our plan is to take down the larger trees, leave those stumps in place with the root structure and to maintain the duff layer in that area, and also leave any trees that are 15 to 20 feet wide or high already. And then just allow that area to continue to fill in naturally with stuff, and probably only go out and do tree pruning or clearing of trees that just grow up a little too quickly, sort of through operation of the project.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you, what's the price? Would it be too much to ask that we leave of the old, these two actually a height of 15 feet,
So
randomly dispersed throughout, just a handful here. But I just think, like you said, the trees die. But process that allows for homes for insects and potentially, raccoons and mammals that would utilize them, and perches for predatory birds. And there's a lot of things that come to, so you don't have to come to a conclusion tonight, but I'm just wondering if it would be too much or onerous that we would leave a hodgepodge every little bit of a tree that's cut at 15 feet.
I don't see why that would be a problem. There are some areas that might get close to the perimeter fence, or might even fall on the emergency access. But there's plenty of areas where having larger stumps in place would be fine.
Yeah, this is
All
Dale
right.
Knapp with BRI. I guess just to clarify what you're asking, you're looking for us to top some of the larger trees so that, you know, they would remain a height of 10 to 15 feet, so that kind of woody debris would remain in that buffer area.
That is correct.
Okay, so I think
You
the
said
project,
it much better than I did.
I think that the project could fairly easily commit to that kind of 15-foot height and leaving the sort of the stem in place, and that probably
Yeah.
wouldn't be that much of a hazard.
Yeah, and again, not every one of them, but if we can have the, you know, the happy compromise, you know, and again, we're going to go out and do a site walk. I think we've confirmed it for the 17th, if I'm not mistaken, at 1 p.m.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. So maybe, and I think this is why it's important too, that we get boots on the ground at some point in time. I think, you know, maybe if we can readily get to some of these areas, maybe we could just talk about that. We can, you know, talk about, I think, what the commission might be looking for, and what is reasonable and feasible, given the proposed activity. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate the detail by which you've gone to address our concerns on that, if you will, no touch zone. I think it adds another level, an area where critters and all can get through. I understand that there's a giant forest out there, but that's not the case everywhere. But in this instance, I think you give a little bit of an upland buffer zone that affords them some protection along the wetlands is important. So thank you again for, you know, considering that. Appreciate that. Is there anything else substantial? You know, actually, before we go any further, there was some confusion relative to engineer and peer review and collecting of checks and all. And I guess I just want to be clear. I wear two hats, as most of you know, and having limited staff in both offices more recently, things have kind of gotten muddied and muddled. And so I'll take the hit on that. What I was really the point I was trying to get across through Caitlin is the quicker if we haven't already received a check, the quicker we get the check, the quicker we can get a review going. And I'll defend Caitlin a little bit because I think I gave her poor instructions. And again, being new, she may not have understood the nuances of what I was trying to say. So I got to be better at that. So if we've already collected a check and it's already been sent to the environmental partners group, if we have the check and we're doing that in concert with them, it's going to be reviewed, obviously, for the site plan review through planning board. But additionally, you know, the stormwater is part of that too. So that's all going to be encompassed in that. If there was any confusion on that, if Adrian's here, I apologize. But I was again, what happened, trying to be helpful and end up causing a little issue. So apologies again. All right. Do you have anything else to add in right now?
All I say is that we received notification back from Mass DEP, and they have issued us a file number and a completeness of submittal with some comments.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, Caitlin. I don't know if we've received that yet. If not, we should either try to track it down online or and if you have that, gentlemen, you have the ability to forward it to us electronically so that we could see. You said there were some comments.
Sure. Yeah. I believe conservation was on that email, conservation@freetownma.gov.
Okay, so we may have it. We may have it already.
We have it.
We do. I'll get with Caitlin on that.
Yeah, and then we can resend for whatever reason it didn't come through.
Kevin, this is Adrian. I was on mute and was wrestling with my earbuds, but no apology needed. We cleared it up with Caitlin, enjoyed working with her, and also thank you for accommodating us on the site walk.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was just I was a little confused myself, so I'm trying to manage everything, and I'm glad we got it under control. So
yes, sir.
we're going to be going out on the 17th at 1 o'clock, and hopefully, I know at least one other board member. I'm hoping that we can get some more. If Margaret, if you'd like to tag along on that, that would be fine.
Oh, that would be good.
If you don't have anything else major right now to add, do we have any other questions or comments from board members or from the general public here tonight? Okay, perfect. That must mean you're doing a pretty good job, gentlemen, getting us the information. So, nothing else to add. Then our next meeting is January 10th after the holidays. So we will look forward to seeing you on the 17th. Are we good with that?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your patience with us. All right. Motion to continue the public hearing for a notice of intent for a solar array at 0 rear and 5 Costa Drive to January 10th via Zoom.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Made and supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Okay, folks, have a happy and safe holiday. If we don't see you on the 17th, for those that we'll see on the 17th, we're not afraid to get a little dirty. We'll wear our boots and jeans, and we'll be willing to get in there. So look forward to it. We'll see you on the 17th.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Next on our agenda, we have item number 8. This is interview and take action relative to the open commissioner's position. Our invited guest is Margaret French to the Conservation Commission. Oh, I was repetitive when I said vote that, didn't I? Okay, so Margaret, you're here.
Yes, I am.
And Margaret, Margaret?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can now. No, I just had a friend, Margaret, and she said, call me Meg. And I don't know why, but I just wanted to make sure that that's all. So Margaret is fine, right?
Yes.
So as you know, we've had an opening on the Conservation Commission for quite some time now. So I do appreciate your interest in joining. And my understanding is you're already involved with some other boards and or committees here in town. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm on the Finance Committee.
Okay. How are you enjoying the Finance Committee so far?
So far, I really enjoy it. And I did go through a whole budget and 2 town meetings. So,
Yeah.
trial by fire.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not the most prestigious, not that any of us have prestige on these boards, but it's necessary work, and so do appreciate you volunteering your time for that. So what nights does the FinCom meet on? Do they meet on Monday nights?
No, usually Thursdays.
Oh, okay, perfect. So there wouldn't be any kind of conflict there. So that's good.
Yep. No, I have Mondays completely free.
So I think the most important, it's a sports phrase, but the most important ability is availability. And I say that keeping in mind that life gets in the way, right? We're all volunteers here. We all have personal lives and family lives and job lives that need attention from time to time. But it's important to make sure that we try to attend as many meetings as we can, so that we're up to speed on what's going on, and we're still in the loop, so to speak. So you don't anticipate, Margaret, that you would have difficulties coming to Monday nights, as you said, your Mondays are free.
Yeah,
Right?
I shouldn't have any problems, and I haven't missed a FinCom meeting yet, so
Well, you need to get a badge of honor for that. So, good members, and for the most part, we do good work here with good people in town. Every once in a while, we have to issue an enforcement order and stuff, but for the most part, it's what you've seen over the last 2 or 3 meetings. If I'm not mistaken, you've attended 2 or 3 of them now, and so you're kind of getting an idea. Granted, it's Zoom.
right.
Not exactly.
Right.
It's not exactly the real, but we are going to come out of this. Oh, I know we are eventually. So that I think you'll find much more, I guess, interesting or more fun. I think oftentimes at meetings when we're all together, we actually have fun doing what we do. So that's enjoyable.
Right.
So let me just ask you, I guess, in general, and gentlemen, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But in Conservation Commission, and you don't have to be all that specific, but just what makes you interested in conservation?
I just in general conservation. I was a Girl Scout leader, a lot of outdoor activities. And I find it very frustrating when I see, the old song, paved paradise to put up a parking lot.
Yeah. So you're conservation conscientious then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like the open space. I like the wooded areas, like you said, for the insects and the animals, and it was very frustrating. I couldn't say anything at the last meeting, but it was very frustrating on that zero Costa, where they just wanted to go right up to the wetlands and take it all down.
You don't blame people for asking.
No,
our job to manage it sometimes. So it's I've done this since 1999, so we're going on 22 years.
Wow.
And Charlie's been doing it for a while. Chris has been doing it a while. So it's and end of the day, I think our mantra is we're here to help people and not hurt people.
Yep.
And if and I mentioned it earlier, I think if we can get people into compliance, then it means that we're doing our job. If they're complying with the law, then we're protecting the wetlands and everybody can be happy. And I say that it's been very receptive. Most people, I just had to deal with somebody today. We get a call from a concerned neighbor. Somebody's out doing, they just bought a recreational lot out in the woods off Chase Road, and they want to bring their hunting dogs out there. They want to go hunting on it. But in order to get out there, they had to clear an old woods road, and it's near a wetland. You can tell that the person wasn't trying to fill in wetlands, but so down with the hammer of Thor, enforcement action and all that. It's been our style to reach out to the person, educate them on what the Wetlands Act is. And now this person's coming down tomorrow, has said they're not going to do any more work within 100 feet, and is going to come down the next couple of days and take out a permit application and get straight by us. So that, I think, down about other conservation commissions, but sometimes our job isn't necessarily to say no. Our job is to make sure that whatever's happening is in compliance with the law, and which means we are protecting the wetlands and the flora and the fauna and everything else involved. So so we got a good group.
Yeah, it sounds good.
It's not mandatory, it's recommended. The MACC has an 8-unit, how to be a Conservation Commission member. The town would pay for that. You don't have to take them all at once. You can take them over time if you'd like. You don't have to take them at all, but I would encourage it. It sure beats trying to read the book and trying to understand everything that way.
No, I would absolutely take a course like that.
Yeah, it's and again, it's like-minded people going to one place and trying to learn about stuff, and there's good questions and answers. There's good material that's learned and taught. So I would recommend it. You know, you can pick and choose which ones are going to be more interesting than others, and you could go that way.
Okay.
Just have any questions for Margaret? Okay. So, Margaret, do you have any questions for the board?
I don't think so. I think they've all pretty much been answered. You know, the last two meetings, I really got an idea of how things flow. And then the training that you mentioned should really fill in a lot of blanks for me.
Yeah, and again, you know, questions, no dumb questions. You can always reach out.
Okay.
And you know, we're an inviting group, right? We try to you know, keep everybody up to date and try to keep everybody informed. So it's been difficult with the COVID. I'm not gonna lie. But
Yeah.
hopefully sooner rather than later we can start meeting in person. And so
Yeah.
all right. If there's no other questions from the board or and you don't have any questions for us, then I will entertain a motion that we recommend for appointment to the Freetown Conservation Commission, Margaret French.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
And I will support the motion.
Thank you. Motion's been made and supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Hearing none. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. So, Margaret, what's going to happen is we're going to write a letter to the selectmen.
Mhm.
I don't know when they're meeting. They may not be meeting as a select board until after Christmas.
Okay.
You know, or even January. But because they're meeting tonight and they had a rather lengthy agenda, and I think that I think they canceled their 20th meeting. So I have this feeling. Either way, it'll be forwarded to them. You will be contacted either by our office or by the selectmen. And once that appointment takes place, then, or it's signed, you come in, like with the FinCom, except that was an election, but you get sworn at by the town clerk, you get your paperwork, and then after that, you can be a voting member. Let's just say it doesn't happen by January 10th. I would invite you or ask you to come to our next meeting. You just won't be able to participate until you're sworn in. But we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay. And you said I could go on the 17th to walk the property?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now again, I would wear boots and clothes that you don't mind might get a little dirty, right? Or maybe suffer a little bit of a tear here or there in case there's bull briars out there. I have not spent any time on the back part of that, so I don't know. The front part, there's an old woods road we'll be able to walk in pretty well, but once you get on the other side, so I would just be prepared for that. We'll probably be there a while. Additionally, Caitlin, when's the date? Are we doing the 19th? For the
site walk?
Brook?
Oh, the Millbrook is the 19th,
And that's at what time?
11.
So on the 19th, which is Sunday, at 11, we'll be going and doing an inspection of that Millbrook Bog project, that restoration project. I don't know if you were at that meeting, weren't you? Can't remember.
I don't That doesn't ring a bell. I was only at the
Okay.
last meeting.
So basically what it is, it's an old abandoned cranberry bog that has gone into disrepair, if you will. This entity is coming in through grant monies, coming in and going to restore it to a more natural wetland. It's a pretty cool project. And we're going to be one of the few in the region to have a project like that. So we'll forward you the information for that. So Caitlin, if you could tomorrow, if we don't already have an email from, we do have an email
Yeah.
from Margaret. So we'll
Yeah.
send out information relative to the inspection on the 17th. Additionally, we'll send it out for the 19th. Okay?
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yep, I'll do that
Excellent.
tomorrow.
All right. Thank you,
All right.
Caitlin.
You're welcome.
Great. All right. If there's nothing else, any other business to properly come before the board or unanticipated? All right. I know that Caitlin and Victoria are working on minutes from our past meetings, so I would imagine that in the next week or so, they'll be sent to you. So please read them. So at our next meeting in January, we can get those approved. All right. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. Yes.
Motion's made and supported to adjourn. If there's no further discussion on the motion, hearing none, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
I'm here. Are you sure you want to adjourn?
Yes.
All right, I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
All right. All right. Well, it's been seconded already. I just need you to vote in favor of it.
Aye, okay, we're doing the aye then.
Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. All right, folks. Have a happy and safe holiday season. And yes, look forward to seeing those I can on the 17th. Have a great night, everybody.
All right, Kevin, you take care.
Yeah.
You too, thank you.
We'll see you. Yep. Bye-bye now.